So get in touch with, let's say, the cosmic emotion behind the nostalgia of your being in search of your ideal. That's what we mean by spirituality. Discover your real being and feel that your real being is involved in all these situations and yet somehow unscathed by it all. So that's a whole new concept. And the model that I've used for that is the voice of Caruso, for example, that remains unscathed in those very bad recordings. For the Sufis, the power that moves the universe is love. But it's nostalgia. It's a longing for beauty. And everything that is cosmic is also customized in our person, and therefore we experience that love in a personal way in loving a person. Again, seeking beauty in that person. And as Ibn Arabi says, it is God who is the lover and God who is the beloved, wherever there's love. So what we love in a person is the divinity of their being. There's one wazifa that is intended to help us to fulfill the purpose of our life. And that's Yafata. Open the door. So the only way for the door to open is to pledge oneself to service. And that is the most important moment in one's life, when one decides that one is going to take it upon oneself to be of service. And one needs to be very clear as to what one is promising. One must never make promises one can't keep. It happened to me several times in my life, of course, because my mother wanted to spare me all the hardships that it means to be the head of a Sufi order. She wanted me to be a musician, and there was a moment when I think I must have been 16 or 17, when I pledged myself to prepare myself for the mission of spreading the Sufi message at all costs. It's a pledge. And there's no turning back then. We have this treasure at our disposal, and most of us are not using it at all. And alienating the spiritual life from the life in the world, music as entertainment. No, the Sufis use music in their meditations because of the fact that music bypasses the mind. When I give initiations, I always formulate 3 wishes. The first is that it should help one to fulfill the purpose of one's life. The second, that would help one to unfurl the potentialities of one's being. And the third, that one should attain illumination. looking at the light helps you to discover your real identity. And here the sun rises. Look at the sun as it rises. The sun is your ancestor, not only the ancestor of your body, but also of your soul. And for the Sufis, the soul is an angel, a fragment of the archangel of the sun. And one of the purposes of your life is to discover that sovereignty that is invested in you. And Pir Murshid adds to that, it is the tradition of the kings. I think today we would say of the kings and queens. And the dervish becomes like a king or a queen. Like reaching a state of maturity in the course of your unfoldment as a human being, so that you are aware that you are the warranty of the divine sovereignty on earth. There has been a fall, a defilement of our status because of our alienation from our origins, the origin of our soul. And so this meditation is an opportunity to remember, to recall the origin of your being in the worlds of light. Become aware of the fact that one is still what one was prior to one's descent in the barzakh, in the Occident, in the world of shadows. But one has forgotten. And now what we want to do is to remember. Imagining that you're looking into a bright light, like the headlamps of a car, for example, and you feel the glow of the light upon your chest, your shoulders, your face, of course. Just think of the light that you at first you had experienced it in just around your body, and now it seems to be hurtling in space and reaching into the stars as you exhale. Now, what if the aura were the mold in which the body is being formed? And what if indeed the embryo of photons is formed before the embryo of electrons and protons? What if our aura is a template? And if you think that way, it's just a question of the way you think, then you will identify with your aura instead of your body. And since your aura is intermeshed with that of the stars, then your whole concept of yourself is going to be totally altered. So being in outer space, if indeed the stars are not the object of your perception, but you are the stars, as St. John of the Cross said, you would begin to think differently about the universe. If the universe is not the object of your experience, then you would realize that if you have the slightest sense of what's happening, it's because your mind is of the same nature as the mind of the universe. Now when you say I've always been a being of light, you don't mean anymore I've always been an aura. You mean I've always been a luminous intelligence. And that at that level you can say I have always been, because that is eternal. Whereas the aura is a formation. Even the celestial bodies are formations. Imagine that you go through your life continually aware of this sense of identity. And if you do that, of course, you would find yourself in a transfigured world. But looking at people, you would always see the eternal face, the eternal countenance behind the physical face. And looking at the trees, you would see the light structure behind the leaves of the trees and the trunks and the flowers. That would be the state of illumination. My father calls it a passion for the unattainable. And what that means, of course, it's a very strong emotion, nostalgia that becomes absolutely paramount in one's life. It seems like just the most important thing in the world. So now what we want to do is to hold the breath after inhaling, and turn your eyeballs upwards. And now, instead of identifying with the physical light, you identify with the light of intelligence. And now, as you exhale, you're experiencing the light of intelligence brightens up your glands. You think of a situation where a mother is showing her child a puzzle, and she says, "Can you see the pixie in the tree?" And my child says, "No, Mummy, I can't see it." "Look again." No, I can't see it." Then all of a sudden, "Yes, Mummy, I see it." And all of a sudden, the whole face of the child lights up. That's what I mean, that the aura will burn more brightly because of your the flash of your intelligence. Now, this is some practice you can do every day, and after a few months, ask somebody to sit in front of you, and you do the same practice. You close your eyes and concentrate on the glands, and as you open your eyes, all of a sudden you see the real countenance of a person behind their face. And it's so beautiful that you can't believe it. It's a word of Hafiz, who said, if you only knew how beautiful you are, but you would have to borrow my eyes. You see, it might happen that in order to be honest, the monk might have to become a jester. Can you see that? To avoid sanctimoniousness. And convey the truth with irony. Because laughter is the best cure against taking oneself too seriously. There's a lot of sanctimoniousness in spirituality. We're going to have the ceremony now at the fire. Those of you who like, you write on a piece of paper your confessions and meet at the bonfire. The guru is a kind of superman who can, one assumes, never makes mistakes. Eventually one finds out that he may have feet of clay. Whereas the murshid is very multiple, very human, makes a lot of mistakes and recognizes them, and loves you so much that you forgive him. As long as he really decides not to make any more. And what Murshid said was wonderful when he said, well, first of all, he said, the teacher is there for the pupil. So it's not like the pupils are there for the guru. The teacher is there for the pupil. And then what he says finally is that At first there's that relationship of teacher-pupil, and eventually they're friends. And that is the ultimate fulfillment. And the curious thing is the word wali means two things. There's wali and wali. And one means master and the other means friend. And incidentally, the word Vilayat comes from wali. That's something that has proven to be so valuable to people who, they used to, I think that, it's like a school. You've been through a school and then you've graduated from the school and then you've got your lives, and a lot of people don't come anymore, but I meet them at airports. I say, Pir Vilayat, oh, but you initiated me, but that was many years ago, and I feel really guilty because I haven't attended class anymore. I said, not at all, you don't have to feel guilty. We encourage people to go into life. He said, yes, but you're always there in my heart. You've left a mark there and we're always with you. And then when those people come back for a meeting, like just a brother-sisterhood meeting, it's such joy. It's like a family reunion again, and one realizes how deep the bond is between us.